turns out Democratic voters have in fact turned their back on Israel for good reason. Let's go to E3 here.
You see El-Sayed going up, and there's all this discussion. Oh, there's this divide on Israel within the Democratic Party. I'd make the argument there was a divide 4 years ago. I'm not quite sure there's a divide anymore, because just take a look here. Okay, Democrats' net favorability of Israel, not liberal, those who are moderate conservative versus those who are liberal. You go back to 2022, those who are not liberal, slightly more likely to hold a net favorable view of Israel than not. Liberals were against Israel by that point, minus 26 points. Come over to this side of the screen. That divide is simply put gone. There is no divide within the Democratic Party when it comes to views towards Israel. The net favorable rating amongst those who are moderate conservative, not liberal. Look at this, minus 55 points. That's a shift of 58 points in just 4 years' time. Those who are liberal, it's nearly a 50-point shift, minus 74 points. But now moderates and conservatives, as well as liberals, those within the Democratic electorate are united on their views towards Israel. It is unfavorable at this point.
Yummy in my tummy. And look, some people are in denial about this, Cenk. Some would argue that this isn't really about displeasure with Israel overall. It's really about one thing or one person only. And that's what you're about to hear from a former Biden advisor, Amos Hochstein. Let's go to E5.
Do you think Democrats are going to come to regret this break in the alliance?
So I hope that it's not a break in the alliance. I think what it really demonstrates is for the last several years, Prime Minister Netanyahu has sacrificed Israel's interest in the United States. The most important asset that Israel has is not its military or its intelligence. It's the special relationship with the United States that has been bipartisan for so many decades. He has destroyed that because he has decided to become not just part of the Republican Party, but he's decided to become just an appendage of Donald Trump. And so every Democrat now sees, if you want to be Trump, great. If we're anti-Trump, then by de facto, we are against you. I think this is a lot to do with Bibi Netanyahu and his extremist right-wing government, and not to do with Israel. Look, you have half of Israel is voting against Bibi.
Yeah.
So I think this Democrat should be aligning with Israel, not with Bibi.
A lot of cope there, a lot of cope. I know that Israelis and their supporters want to reach for anything other than the obvious answer here. It's because Israel keeps killing innocent people and stealing land. It's that simple, okay? Unlike the cultural, paradigm that currently exists in Israel, here in the United States, killing innocent people still frowned upon. Still frowned upon.
Okay, so let me address a trend in that Harry Enton mentioned about, which is now a tidal wave. So first off, on that, brother there, the latest Israeli tactic here in America is, no, Israel's not the problem at all. Israel's great and golden as always. It's just that Netanyahu is being too right wing. So we have with the next Israeli prime minister who agrees with Netanyahu on literally everything, because all of the candidates in Israel do. They believe in slaughtering the Palestinians and never giving them a state and keeping Gaza and keeping southern Lebanon. All of the candidates do, but their new propaganda tactic was Netanyahu. And so now we can move, and you see it in the Democratic Party too. Josh Shapiro obviously going to run for president. He's been doing a tour. First thing he comes out and goes, Israel has a right to exist. That's a real issue. That is very poorly received because they're like, nobody's talking about Israel's right to exist. That's not the issue. Their genocides are the issue. So he then switches it up to, I've always been against the Netanyahu government. And you know what? Once Netanyahu leaves, everything's going to be fine.
No.
Okay. So that's Josh Shapiro because he loves Israel, trying to run cover for them. It's not gonna work. But others have wisened up. Even Rahm Emanuel is talking about cutting funding to Israel.
Don't trust him.
Okay, of course not. He's never gonna do that. He's literally an IDF soldier,
exactly,
right?
Yep.
But he's smart enough to go, I can read polls. -76 is a bad number. 80% of Democratic voters now have a negative view of Israel. So Rahm's gonna try to trick you by saying, even though I'm an IDF soldier, I will cut funding. But at least that's where everybody's going. McMorrow, the person that's leading in that poll that we just showed you, yes, Abdul El-Sayed. So she, just a couple of years ago, not a long time ago, wrote a glowing policy paper about how great Israel is for a pro-Israel group. Then she's taking $100,000 from the Israeli lobby, but now she's got her hand in the cookie jar. She says, "Oh, she's like, no, I'm not taking AIPAC money." Other Israeli lobby, but I'm not taking AIPAC money. And then she even tried to go and say, "Okay, it is a genocide." And then she got slapped on the wrist, and she came back and said, "Sorry, not a genocide, not a genocide." Oh yeah, McMorrow, you'll be a lot better. You'll be the moderate, you know, because she's trying to position herself as like, I get it, you're not gonna vote for Haley Stevens. Oh yeah, she takes AIPAC money. But Abdul, like a little crazy Muslim radical, right? I'm the safe option, I don't take AIPAC money. My ass, you were kissing Israel's ass a minute ago, okay? But again, shows you the trend. They're starting to panic and do new lines of propaganda.
So here's a warning, or I don't even want to say warning, but just something to look out for those who really deeply care about this issue. The behavior of McMorrow reminds me of the behavior of establishment Democrats, corporate Democrats, as the progressive wave was really building in response to Bernie Sanders running in 2026. Of course, he got shafted by the Democratic establishment, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, you're gonna get Democratic candidates who can read the tea leaves, they see what's happening with the base, and they're gonna lie to you about who they are and what they actually represent. They're gonna pretend like they're gonna fight against Israel, but in reality, just like Rahm Emanuel, they're probably gonna do Israel's bidding, as we've always done. And we need actual fighters. There's no reason to believe that Abdul El-Sayed is lying to us because he's strong in his statements. What he said to Manu Raju was not only bold, it was accurate, and he's unapologetic about it. That's what we need.
Right before I launched TYT, the doubt was real. What if nobody watches? What if it doesn't work out? I got past those initial hurdles, but when we launched our Shop TYT store, the doubts came back. What if people don't like the designs? What if nobody buys anything? Making those leaps of faith was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And it helps when you've got a partner like Shopify on your side. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from big names to brands just getting started. You get hundreds of ready-to-use templates to build a beautiful online store that matches your style. They make it easy to change your online store so you can feature new designs. And Shopify's AI tools write product descriptions, headlines, and even enhance your photos. Plus, their purple Shop Pay button, it has the best converting checkout on the planet. Fewer cart abandonments mean more sales for you. Everything from inventory to shipping to returns, all in one place. It's time to turn those what ifs into. With Shopify today, sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/TYT. Go to shopify.com/TYT. That's shopify.com/TYT. Yeah, there's this great ironic advantage for Muslim American candidates these days because everybody knows, well, at least they're not gonna sell out to Israel.
True.
So that's part of why Mamdani won. That's why Abdul El-Sayed is rising the polls. Last thing on a national scale, guys. So there's only one guy that I see that's genuine about this. It's Ro Khanna talking about not another dollar, no more money to Israel, no more their prime minister coming into our situation room. We should stand up for America. But the rest of the party is still full of BS, right? Why? We just had a vote on the War Powers Act. Oh, good lady, just got enough votes in the House to pass by one vote. Oh, golly gee, keep Israel's war going in Iran. And in the Senate, they sent 1,000-pound bombs to Israel and armed bulldozers to destroy innocent people's homes. And not only did every Republican vote for it, but 7 snakes in the Senate crossed party lines and said, oh, no. Chris Coons, Fetterman, Schumer, Blumenthal, etc. No, Gillibrand, we loyally serve Israel. Give them all the destruction, weapons of mass destruction and whatever else you have to do. Make sure they murder more of their neighbors. So when it comes to the actual votes on what matters, the Democratic Party in reality hasn't moved an inch. Their leadership still completely represents Israel and not us. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.